Parenting Today. I'm Ty Renee, the hostess, and we are live from Listen Vision Studios in Washington, D.C. My name is Ty Renee, and I am a mom. I'm a wife. I'm also a career mom, and at one time, I was a home-based mom. I am a parent of a multifaceted group of children that are just so blended. I'm a mom of 10 kids. I've had children come to me in very different avenues, and I'd like to share that with you, as well as talk to you about the different ways you are working with your children in today's society. Let's relate, let's support, and share how to handle the single parenting to the marriage mingle. There are many things that are going on in today's society that we can discuss, and I'm so glad that you came to today's show. We will be discussing behavior issues. We'll also have a moment to discuss how to best deal with the summer heat for our kids. When you're out in the summer, be sure to put sunscreen on your children and pay attention to the different SPF numbers on the sunscreen. Anything with a number of 10 or higher is great. 30 is best, because you want to make sure that you're getting the best protection, because if you're not, you'll actually wind up getting sunburn as well as increasing your risk for some skin cancers. Young children are most susceptible, so do make sure when you apply sunscreen that you repeat within 30-minute increments, especially if they're out swimming. When you're out as well, keep in mind that the car can get very hot. Children particularly cannot regulate their heat. The temperature of their body increases very quickly in a small amount of time. So be sure to cool down the vehicle before they get in and cover the seat when you leave the vehicle so that it doesn't get hot in between entering and exit the vehicle. Another thing to keep in mind is that you shouldn't leave your child in the car. We've had several incidents in the country where parents unfortunately forgot their child inside of the vehicle, and it takes a short amount of time for the temperature to rise at such an extreme heat that they're not able to breathe, as well as in some instances they lose their life. So be sure to turn on your air before you get your child and place them in your vehicle, and be sure to turn around and double check to make sure your child is not in the vehicle when you step out. We have a video in which I'd like to show you about the dangers of keeping your child in the vehicle during the summertime heat.
Yeah, I just pulled in at the store and I've got to grab just a few things, then I'll be home. We can go. Hey, yeah, talk to you later. Okay, see you, bye.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you finding everything okay?
Do you know where your sea salt is?
I think it's over here. Let's go look.
Kathy.
Hey!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I haven't seen you forever.
I know, it's been way too long.
What have you been up to?
Just running crazy.
me just say that was a reenactment of an incident that occurred. There's so many different stories that parents share about their experience. But overall, as you see, it takes only 15 minutes for the heat to get that high that a child can die inside of a vehicle. So when you are getting out your vehicle, when you normally remember to turn off the radio because you don't want to burn up the energy in your vehicle battery. Turn and look in your rearview mirror. See if you've left a child sitting in the back seat. When you get out and you put your alarm on or you click your clicker to turn and lock the key, turn around and look again in your vehicle to see if anyone is left in your vehicle, even a pet. It's a very serious thing. And every summer we have numerous deaths of children that have been left inside of vehicles. And I can only hope one day that it will not be you or I. I have a 4-year-old. I also have a couple of preschoolers and a teenager. But in particular, my 4-year-old is great, just so lively, so energetic, and he has the most quirkiest stories to tell. But I will tell you, there are times in which my 4-year-old does not behave. Now, I know there's many families out there that experience this. You're going out and your toddler just will not settle down. They're very loud. They say anything, they do anything. We've even had some toddlers you find when you're out that they're throwing items for absolutely no reason. With that being said, there are different techniques that you can work with your children to try to get them to behave when you're at home as well as when you're in public. And I know it can be very hard to try to work with them, and it can be frustrating because you seem to have to repeat the same thing several times and they don't seem to get it. Well, do believe they do understand you. They do get it. They just actually don't want to do it. So the best course of action is to be consistent, be patient, and repeat. As any parent, you want your child to grow up to be a good citizen. So work with them. And remember, most of the time they're doing these things because they want your attention. So try to redirect them. Try to have them actually be engaged in some kind of activity that will be educational or will just be fun. You can create an activity in the slightest little thing that you do, even by playing finger puppets. My son is a fanatic for finger puppets. He will go and take the flashlight and create his own finger puppet theater. If at any time you don't have something to do, you can even take your keys out and take the 2 keys, put them together, and you can create a game by asking them how many times do the keys click. I'd like to show you a video about a 4-year-old who's having behavior problems, and then I'll answer an idea of how to troubleshoot dealing with this young toddler.
Mommy's gonna pick you up in a minute, but I'm gonna hold Kaya for a minute, and then she's gonna hold you, okay?
Later on, Zach threw an absolute tantrum because Mum was holding Kaya and not him. Zach has been overbearing with every member of his family. And it's really about Mum teaching Zachary that it's okay for him to wait his turn.
Right? And this is what you're going to say to him. We will cuddle in a moment, but right now, Mummy's cuddling Kaya.
You stop crying and you listen. Sit right here next to me. Right here next to me.
If you want to, it's up to him.
See? Mommy's right here for both of you, okay?
That's just defeating the object, though. Because there are going to be times when you're just going to be with Kaya, and there are going to be times when you... Look what he's doing, look. He muscles his way and pushes past her. None of this crying and nonsense, okay? Mummy's cuddling, and when she's finished, she will with you.
When Zachary cries for me, it just breaks my heart. And then I can't just drop everything and just pick him up and love him is a horrible feeling.
It's not necessary. Put both kids down. Tell them you're going to make dinner. He's doing this right now because he just wants to smother you.
It became emotionally too overwhelming for her, and I could see I just needed to take her into the bathroom where we could have a serious conversation and that she could really get herself together. Okay, what are we crying about? What are you crying about? What is it that's killing you?
But he's upset and wants me to pick him up, and I don't just pick him up.
She needs to realise that as long as she continues to behave this way, things are not going to change and there are going to be mixed messages flying around for these young kids. What's he going to learn from you doing that? Tell me, what's he going to learn? If he behaves like that and every time he behaves like that, he gets love, what kind of love is he learning to get? Is that healthy love?
No.
You know it's not.
It made me feel a little bit bad that I let it go that far. That by trying to make him happy, I was hurting him.
Stick to your word. Stop babying him. Do not leave that bathroom until you're ready. She turned around and said, no, I've got this. I know what I need to do. And out she went.
When it came out, he was done. He got over it and he was fine. You can't cry like that, okay? Because that makes Zachy sad and Mommy sad. You use your words and talk to Mommy, and no screaming, okay? Mommy loves you.
Mum didn't give in, and it's good because Zach has realised that he can't have every minute of Mum's attention, and Mum's realised that it's actually okay to make Zach wait for a minute.
I'm glad I did it. It's gonna help him. It's gonna teach him, and it'll benefit him. But it was the hardest thing I've ever done. Ever.
Having dealt with Zachary's jealousy issues with his baby sister, it's now going to be important to make sure that he doesn't have to be and do everything his older sisters are doing. Zach actually makes the call if his older sisters can go into the swimming pool or go outside the house to play. This needs to change. So Jordan and Tanner, you could go swimming in the backyard.
Out Zachary.
I was like shocked because I didn't think Zachary would be able to let us go out by ourselves.
So sure enough, when the sisters left, he kicked off.
Listen, this afternoon,
Bring him
I'm gonna take you swimming.
He was not happy. He had a fit. He cried.
Stop crying so you can hear me, okay? Listen.
So Mum remained calm, like I taught her to, and then we just shifted Zach's focus. And we played a game.
Like to play with them? Okay, let's see what color Joe wants to be.
Right, I think I'll be yellow, actually. I'll be the yellow one. What one are you going to be?
We started to play, and he wanted to be a part of it.
You're after Mummy.
You're after me, so it's your turn now.
Okay.
Mum's looking at me, she's like, I cannot believe he's just sitting there.
So help me count. For him to actually accept it and be like, oh, okay, without the fight we thought we were gonna get is amazing. And now we know that everybody can do their own thing and still be happy.
Mum and Dad still have a major problem when it comes to disciplining Zach. So what I'm going to do is bring in the naughty chair technique, go through the steps so they will understand how to do a timeout.
This is good. This is the first time I've seen you guys smile over discipline. We're in a good place.
Oh, we're excited about it.
All right. It wasn't long before Mum had to use the first step of that naughty chair technique, a warning.
Zachary, if you spin the chair again, you go to time out in your naughty spot. Do you understand?
And when Zach chose to ignore Mum, it was time to do the second step, and that was to put him onto the naughty chair and explain why he had to sit there.
Listen to Mommy. You are in timeout because Mommy said don't spin the chair. And you did not listen to me. So now Zachary has to sit in timeout.
Stopwatch.
When Mommy comes back to get you, you may get up.
At first he was like, well, why am I sitting here? I've never had to sit anywhere for any extended period of time when I've done something wrong.
And true to form, Zach didn't give in without a fight.
I knew the first time out with Zachary would be really hard, and it was.
Time are bad.
This is not funny.
But Mum stuck with it until Zach sat there for his full time. And she did a great job.
Mommy told you do not spin the chair. And you did not listen to Mommy, so you had to sit in timeout. Now say you're sorry.
Sorry.
And give me a kiss and a hug.
To actually see discipline work with Zach just gave me encouragement that it's gonna be hard to do, but the more I do it, hopefully the more he will behave.
And I knew it was on you because your charger's in there.
That was went through my bag.
You bet.
I found
Welcome back. Zach is a really good example of a typical 4-year-old. He wants his way all the time, and the other children around just seem to fall at the wayside because Zach has to have all the attention. And if you notice in this clip, Zach didn't just want all the attention from his younger sibling. He wanted all the attention from his parents that would remove the attention for the older siblings. In that kind of scenario, Zach actually was very aggressive, and he didn't like the time out normal technique that most people use. And for many years, the whole timeout technique has been probably recommended by every doctor in the nation. Well, now redirecting is really great. And one of the things that the parents could have done, and let me say I love Super Nanny, but one of the things that the parents could have done is actually use Zach as a helper. Have him go and pick up things or get things that are needed for one of the other children. Maybe something as simple as, can you grab the baby wipes? Or honey, can you go get the diaper so that I can change little sister? Can you grab the bottle? Nothing that's necessarily dangerous, but something that makes him feel helpful. And it goes sort of into that redirection, but giving them a sense of ownership of being a part of what's taking place instead of just having to sit to the side and do nothing. Another technique that is really great is time in. And I know this sounds totally foreign because we're so used to hearing time out, put them in the corner, put them in the chair. Make sure the time that you put them in time out is appropriate for their age. I'll be honest with you, half the time when you put them in time out, it doesn't work. The kids will sit there eventually after you fight with them and you teach them this is what timeout is about. But if you have an overactive kid, especially one that has ADHD, they will find something to do, even as simple as twiddling their thumbs on their lap, bouncing from side to side, tapping their feet, or even worse, looking forward and pushing themselves back in the chair. And if you're close enough to the wall, they're going to hit their head. So the time in technique is much different. You actually stop everything and you pay attention to them. You give them pure silence. And what happens is they will look and say, what's happening here? Because it's completely opposite of what they've expected. And they will just stop. The action will actually cause a change in their behavior. They will then look at you and think, why is mommy and daddy just staring at me? Why aren't they doing what they normally do? Tell me to stop, fuss, even pull me to the side, ask me to go in time out. It's sort of foreign to them, and it does make a change. So I wouldn't use it often, but it does work enough that you can stop a behavior, especially for that period of time, and then offset it. One time use the time out technique, and then the next time use the time in technique, and then the next time use the employ them to do little task technique. Try them all and see how they work. But if you have a son like I have, and my son is like a Zach, he's busy and he wants to demand everyone to do everything that he wants to do exactly when he wants to do it. He wants to control the remote, and he's only 4 now. He wants to control the remote at all times. He wants to dictate who's going to watch and when they're going to watch it and what channel he wants to put it on. He says, this is what we're going to watch, and that's that. And if the other children try to take the remote, that remote will come up missing. So with that being said, I go through it all the time. And what I do with him is I take him and I place him in charge of another activity. And that removes him from taking control of the TV, but then he feels like he's still a part, but he's another important host of the activity. I may send him to get popcorn and bring it back in a bowl, or I may ask him, can he help me with making sure the seats in place so everyone can sit down and watch television. And if there's another activity that the children are all participating in and he wants to take over, I just ask him to wait. Make sure you wait your turn. All these little techniques actually help. They're not perfect, and there's no actual 100% rule to parenting, but they're very helpful, and they do sometimes change the behavior. Today is August 2nd of 2016. It is the first Tuesday of August. Now, some of you may know that it is National Night Out. It is National Night Out all around the country, and everyone is celebrating in different ways. If you've ever attended a National Night Out event, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is fun. There are different activities. Every organization from the community comes out. You'll have your officer friendly. You'll have your fire department. You may have your neighborhood doctor. You'll have some of the carnival rides. It's different everywhere you go, but for the most part, it is a fun night to show unity in the community. So tonight, for National Night Out, I'd like to make sure to share with you a full description of what National Night Out is. So if you don't get to participate today, you can make sure to put it on your calendar to participate next year. Most of the activities for National Night Out start this evening from 6 o'clock on. You can go to the NATW website. They will have the different locations worldwide listed. You can also type in National Night Out for the name of your town or city, and you'll find a list of activities that are going on, places that you can go, and everything is free. So be sure to keep in mind to work with your community and participate in National Night Out. I have a video that I'd like you to see, and it will give you a better understanding of what National Night Out is all about.
Take a look around you and tell me what you see. Does life seem like a dream come true, or can you see the reality? Tell me, do you have the answers? If so, just waste no time. All I need to know is how you feel right now. You are a friend of mine, and it's our night out.
Our night out.
And we're taking back the streets.
Our night out.
We won't let crime stand in our way. Oh no, we won't be beat. And it's our night out.
Our night out.
And together we'll prevail.
Our night out.
What we say is true, we mean it from our hearts. Life's not a fairy tale. Oh no, no.
Now listen, when I say crime, you say out. When I say crime, you say out. Come on, crime.
Out.
Crime.
Out.
Crime.
Out.
Crime.
Out.
Hey, when I say crime, you say out. When I say crime, you shout out. Come on, crime.
Out.
Crime.
Out.
Crime.
Out.
Crime. Now let me stop you for a moment. I have something to say. You see, I'm from the old school, from just across the way. And the real deal is, you know we've got to fight, but with laws and knowledge, not guns and knives. Stand our ground steadfast, but the thoughts on the run. Teach our children now while their learning is fun. Get all the information, know what real life's about. Come together, help us now to get this crime out. Hey, when I say crime, you say out. When I say crime, you shout out. Come on, crime.
Out.
crime out, crime out, crime out. When I say crime, you yell out. When I say crime, you shout out. Come on, crime out, crime out. Hey, crime out, crime out. Turn your porch light on and let your light shine. We have a job to do and we're running out of time. Let's put our best foot forward, walking hand in hand. They say it hasn't been done, but together we can. We got to care about our neighbors, show real love in our heart. We might not solve things tomorrow, but today is the start. If we just pull together, then there'll be no doubt that together we can get this crime out.
For many years we've had criminals who ran the neighborhood. We've tried to be patient, oh yes, we've tried to see the good. We've got the police departments behind us and God on our side. We won't let evil take over, I know we can survive. And it's our night out,
our night out.
And we're taking back the streets.
It's our night out.
We won't let crime stand in
our night
our
out.
way, oh no, we won't be beat.
It's our night out.
And it's our night
It's
out.
our night out.
And together we'll prevail.
It's our night out.
What we say is true, we mean it from our hearts. Life's not a fairy tale.
When I say crime, you say out. When I say crime, you yell out. Crime out, crime out, crime out, crime out. When I say crime, you shout out. When I say crime, you shout out. Come on, crime out, crime out, crime out, crime out, crime out, crime out, crime out.
National Night Out, such a great community event, happens once a year. It's free. Take your kids out, enjoy the night, get free food, see the carnival. The first video is a standard video about National Night Out, but the second video was a cute little song that I saw, and I thought it really was great that someone decided to create this free song to discuss National Night Out. But that last video from the Rockville community was really what embodies the action and fun at National Night Out. You'll see a mascot. I don't want to say McGraw will always be there, but you'll see a mascot, and you'll have different organizations out. They'll have free arts and crafts for the kids, as well as face painting. Usually it's always face painting because we have to have something for the kids to do. So if you have a moment, go on the web, type in National Night Out, your city, your town, whatever your locality is called, and you will find an activity to do if you choose to go out tonight. And most of the events end around 9, 10 o'clock. And also the National Guard normally is involved in National Night Out. So if you see the military out there, please, please give all our armed forces, police, firefighters, all our public servants a great thank you, because they are out there not just working, but they are out there giving it their all, and most of them are out there for free. So National Night Out, first Tuesday of August every year. I'd like to also discuss with you, as parents, we have trouble sometimes communicating because we are dealing with our kids. The truth is, children take up a lot of our time. Parents put themselves on the back burner. And unfortunately, that means you sometimes don't communicate properly. It's very important as parents, even as whether you're single parents or divorced parents, whatever the situation is, if there is another caretaker involved with your children, that you are sure to communicate. And I will stress, I know many people live by the text message and the emails and so forth. There is nothing like voice-to-voice communication, even if it's on the phone. So much can be lost in translation when you text. So much can be really lost when you just send it by email, because it gives so much room for someone to interpret, what does this writing mean? You could just type something in capital letters because you want to make it sound like you're shouting it to be funny, and they may actually get offended by it. But if you call them on the phone and they hear your voice and they hear that you sound pleasant and you're saying, hey, I am so happy about whatever it is you want to share, they know that you're not unhappy or you're not frustrated and you're not mad with them. So I'm a proponent for the old-fashioned, give a person a call. It's very easy nowadays. All the cell phone carriers practically have unlimited calling. So pick up the phone. Texting is cool if you want to send details or directions or what time you want to meet. But when you want to have a good heart-to-heart conversation with someone or discuss how you should deal with your children from time to time, pick up the phone and talk to them. That's the best way you can do it. If you find you're having trouble communicating, if you find that there's just not where you're meeting at the middle of the road, I will tell you, if it's only been happening for a little bit, you probably can fix it very quickly. But if it's been happening for a long time, you may need to seek professional help. There are counselors, there are therapists, depending on the severity of the issue, because sometimes a lack of communication is the downfall in a relationship, and it will cause a couple to split up. It's very unfortunate because you'll have miscommunication about simple things. Who was supposed to pick up the milk? Who was supposed to get the diapers? Who was supposed to take the kids to practice today? Who was supposed to pay tuition? Who was supposed to take them someplace? So if you find yourself in a situation where communication is not your strong point, I would suggest that you set a time and you set a date with your significant other or the other parent, and you say, you know what, how about let's meet every Friday night at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and let's sit down and talk about the things that we need to talk about for the upcoming week. If it's a parent that, you know, you're not together and you're apart, but you need to discuss things about your child, say to them, hey, look, how about we just pick up the phone and we talk to each other on maybe Sunday at 3 o'clock every week, just so we know what we need to do and we don't lose anything in translation. It's very easy to set a date. If we sometimes treat communication as necessary as we treat getting up to do our day-to-day task, like going to work, or if you're a domestic home-based mom and you know, okay, I have to do certain things at a certain time with my children, or I have to do certain things at home at a certain time, or I have to keep an appointment with the doctor at a certain time, you're more apt to do it. But if you just say, okay, I'll do it when I get a chance, or I'll do it on a whim, you won't do it. So if communication is a problem, set a schedule. Take the time to say what day, what time works best for me. Set a schedule and commit to it. That way it will get done. Another way that parents can communicate very well is by keeping an actual schedule. A schedule that is merged and it has an outline of who's going to do what and when it needs to be done. Incorporate what activities for the children need to be completed, where they need to be, at what time they need to be picked up. And if you employ a babysitter, when and what days is that babysitter expected to be and do? Because if you don't, you will have miscommunication, you will make mistakes, and worst case scenario, your kids won't get picked up from school or some other place, and you'll be dashing across town to try to get them before the authorities are called. So if you know you have communication issues, let's try to work on it. I have a video that really goes through some parenting communication, and it also talks about how they felt while this was happening. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you can kind of see where the miscommunication takes place in their marriage, but let's take a look at it and see how it goes. It's a video with a mom and a dad, and they're actually going to counseling. They have a list of things that are happening. They haven't been able to get it worked out on their own. And like I said, if you have an issue that you're not able to adjust in your life, it's best that you do seek some kind of professional help, whether it be a counselor, a therapist. There are many programs, and there's actually several books that have keys to help you go through steps to better develop your communication with your spouse. If you find that there is a book out there that's very helpful, do me a favor. Give us a call or send me an email at Parenting Today, Ty Renee, and let me know about it. I love to read it myself and share it with our viewers. Here's the video so you can take a look at this issue that these parents are having.
Are you stepping anybody else? That's what your mom asked, right? She was like, a little bit.
Can't wait. It still has that
Stop!
piece of skin.
Just
It still
tell
has
me.
that piece of
Am I
skin.
your girlfriend? Are you
What?
avoiding the conversation?
Mwah.
Why are you avoiding the conversation? Am I your girlfriend or not?
What does that mean? I'm.
Oh, you put it in with the pasta?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're making it seem so much more important to me than it actually is. It's not that important to me. It's
not?
just the fact that you won't give me an answer is why it's becoming so important to me.
We just life insurance is if you have like dependents.
If you have a life?
If you do you have a retirement account?
Well, yeah. I have like like a Roth thing.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like $1,000 in there.
Like savings
I didn't
account?
know you had $1,000 somewhere.
Oh yeah, I've had it for like 10 years. Like when I first got into college, my parents set it up. Well, it was well before I met you. Amazing. They're like all these different colors, but they're always like.
You are totally objectifying me right now.
So if she has to live without the salary that she's been
Getting from me.
That's not the case.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of external factors all of a sudden, like your mom and everybody in India and like, all your friends and Facebook status. That's really what this is about. So.
Did you put bread in the pan with the juices?
No.
We're gonna put the bread and soak up the juices in the pan.
Well, there's already soap in the thing over here.
I know, but you can't put it in there. But that's the whole point. It actually, the bread soaks up all the delicious chicken juices.
That's good to know. That's gonna be helpful.
Because now you have the whole pan that could have been like delicious sauce on that bread.
If you notice, they're having some communication issues. They're in the kitchen together, but obviously mom has said something and dad did not hear, and dad did something else, and now mom is frustrated. So many of us have been through that before. You can be right there with someone and there is a lack of communication or a lack of response or understanding. As well, if you notice the other couple, they were actually sitting down to have a nice little moment, and it appears that the guy is saying, hey, it's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of things going on and things with the parents involved. So take the time, set a schedule, make it a date, even if it is just a quiet time that you sit on the phone and you talk to each other to share, clear up any misunderstandings, discuss your hopes, your wishes. It's very important throughout your life as a parent and whatever you do to make sure you're communicating with each other, because it's so important that if you don't, you'll have other problems and it will trickle down into everything you do, especially parenting your kids. So thank you so much for joining us today on Parenting Today. Feel free to email me at parentingtoday@gmail.com. You can also call into the show at any time, and the number is 202-838-7870 if you'd like to discuss any of the topics or just chat about something that's going on in your life. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.